How's it going, my peeps? It is now time for the Raw results / highlights and review video. I'll go over the Raw results and give you guys my thoughts on the show. So the show kicks off with Dolph Ziggler on top of the ladder, talks about John Cena, talks about the match, and how he's gonna beat John Cena and still remain the Money in the Bank holder, and then cash it in against Big Show and win the World Heavyweight Championship. And then Sheamus comes out. He tells Ziggler Big Show won't be the champion, so if Dolph Ziggler has to cash in, he's gonna cash it against Sheamus. But Sheamus says he doesn't think Ziggler's even going to win against John Cena, so it's probably going to be John Cena versus Sheamus for the World Heavyweight Championship. And then Big Show comes out saying that, he's going to be the world champion. They argue. Eventually, to end the segment, Sheamus just shoves Ziggler off from the ladder. And then afterwards, we get Vince McMahon and Vickie Guerrero, on the stage, and he talks about tonight's John Cena versus Big Show match. And then he, tries to get Vickie to book some other matches, like Sheamus versus Dolph Ziggler. And he also books Vickie Guerrero versus AJ, one-on-one, much to Vickie's dismay. And then we get R-Truth coming out for a match against Wade Barrett, with Kofi Kinston on commentary. And R-Truth actually wins the matchup with a roll-up. And then after the match, R-Truth stares down Antonio Cesaro, who was also on commentary, and Kofi Kinston gets in the ring as Wade Barrett gets up and hits a jumping crossbody. And then we get AJ backstage, and she's all happy that, she's gonna get a match with Vickie. She's telling everybody, Caitlyn and everybody, and then she also goes into the men's locker room where John Cena has to tell him about, the match against Vickie, and he's like, okay, just, let's get out of here since it's the men's locker room. And then we get a fatal four-way elimination tag team match between the team of the Usos, Epico and Primo, the Primetime Players, and the returning Cody Rhodes and Damien Sandow. Rhodes returns with a mustache. And as far as the matchup, the Usos actually eliminated both Primo and Epico. Primo and Epico were the first team eliminated, and then they also eliminated the Primetime Players. And then it was down to Cody and Damien Sandow versus the Usos. And towards the end of the matchup, it actually looked like the Usos were going to win the matchup. One of the Usos was going to go for the splash on Cody, but Cody managed to get up and try and stop him, but one of that Uso that was on the top turnbuckle pushes Cody away and then went for the splash, but actually Cody countered by getting his knees up and then hit the crossroads for the victory. So Damien Sandow and Cody will now face Rey Mysterio and Cara in a tables match at TLC. By the way, that was the reason for this tag team match. The winners of the Fatal 4-Way Elimination Tag Team match get a match against Rey Mysterio and Cara at TLC in a tables match to determine the new number of contenders to Team Hell No's championships. And also during the matchup, the crowd was actually chanting Cody's mustache. So yeah, very unique chant. And the commentators then talk about the Slammy Awards next week and how this time the fans get to vote who they want to see win the awards, like Superstar of the Year, Breakout Superstar of the Year, and all the other awards. And then we get Eve versus Alicia Fox in a one-on-one non-title match. It's a quick little match. Eve wins the match with her neckbreaker finisher. We then get CM Punk coming out in crutches along with Paul Heyman. And he starts talking about the injury. He says that some people think it's fake or it's not a real injury. He says it's 100% real. He then shows some footage of how he got injured. And they show the footage from last week where Ryback attacked CM Punk with a shell shock, with a steel chair, a ladder, and then put him through a table with a powerbomb. And he says, it's a real injury. He's not pretending to be injured to, not face Ryback because he's beaten him twice before. And then he starts talking about The Rock and how he's going to face The Rock and, have so many people have tried to end CM Punk's reign as champion but have failed, and The Rock will also fail. And then he also says he'll be at TLC watching The Shield due to Ryback, what Ryback did to him. And he also points out that he's not affiliated with The Shield. And that's pretty much it for that promo. We then have Sheamus versus Dolph Ziggler in a pretty good matchup. And Dolph Ziggler actually got disqualified in the matchup. They went outside and Ziggler grabbed the chair, hit Sheamus. And then back in the ring, he hit Sheamus once again with the steel chair. He was about to hit Sheamus with another steel chair shot, but Sheamus bro-kicked the chair off of Ziggler's hand, so Ziggler just rolled out the ring quickly and just got out of there. So yeah, Sheamus wins the matchup by disqualification. So once again, Sheamus beats Dolph Ziggler, although this time, thankfully, it's by disqualification, not Sheamus just pinning him after a bro kick. Then get a backstage segment with Vickie, and Hornswoggle comes up to her with Great Khali, and they want to ask her something, but, you know, she doesn't want to hear it, and then she's like, you know, it looks like she's in pain, and they ask her what's wrong. She says, you know, she's feeling a bit tight. So then Hornswoggle decides to help her or whatever, so he holds one of her legs up, and then Great Khali goes from behind and, you know, grabs both of Vickie's arms in like a shaking wing kind of hold, I think. And she's like bending over, and, you know, Hornswoggle has that one leg up or whatever. And they're like in this awkward position, and then somebody knocks, and it's Vince McMahon. He comes in, and he looks at them like, you know, he's disgusted or whatever, and he says, "I thought this was a family show." Commentators then show footage from SmackDown where the Shield attacked Daniel Bryan and Kane, and they also show, you know, Shield promo from SmackDown as well. After that, it was your usual Del Rio versus a mid-carder match. Try and guess who it is. Was it Del Rio versus Brodus Clay versus Santino versus Zack Ryder? If you said Zack Ryder, you're right. It was Del Rio versus Zack Ryder. And as usual, Del Rio wins with the cross arm breaker. It's always the same prop with Del Rio, you know. On Raw, it's always Del Rio versus like Santino versus maybe Brodus Clay or Zack Ryder. And Del Rio always wins with the cross arm breaker. Oh yeah, and it's sometimes also Sin Cara. He faces Sin Cara a lot. And he always wins when he faces Sin Cara. But this wasn't really a squash match. You know, Zack Ryder got a lot of, you know, good offense in that match. In the end, he missed the broski boot, and because of that, Del Rio locked on the cross arm breaker and won the matchup. Afterwards, it was AJ Lee versus Vickie Guerrero. AJ Lee comes out first, and then Vickie comes out to no music, and there's no referee in the ring, so she tells the referee to, you know, get out. And Brad Maddox comes out in a referee's t-shirt. And, you know, he's actually the referee for the matchup. In the beginning of the matchup, Vickie actually dominated the match because AJ in the beginning was kind of distracted with Brad Maddox, you know, knowing that he's probably not going to be impartial. And then AJ got some momentum back. She started dominating the matchup. She went for the pin after, like, a slap. And Brad Maddox didn't count the count. He just, you know, he kind of looked away. Hanged like on the ropes, didn't do anything, so AJ got up and was like staring at Brad Maddox. With that slight distraction, Vickie rolled AJ up for the 1-2-3. Brad Maddox did a quick count on that. So Vickie wins the matchup. Right when she wins, she gets out of the ring as quick as possible. Brad Maddox raises her hand on the stage. And as far as AJ goes, she loses it. She starts screaming, throws like 2 chairs, you know, outside the ring, takes a ladder and just pushes it, you know, pushes it off. And she also slaps Justin Roberts for no reason. And then she just leaves. And then backstage, we see AJ again. She's still furious, and she's still throwing things around. And then John Cena comes up to her and just calms her down. But then again, Kofi Kinston versus Antonio Cesaro. For the matchup, Antonio Cesaro cuts a short little promo, saying that nobody more than New Jersey needs Antonio Cesaro as their United States champion. And then he says this Sunday at TLC, our truth will find out that the truth hurts. So as far as the match goes, it was a pretty good match. In the end, Kofi went for a top rope move. I think it was a top rope crossbody. And Antonio Cesaro countered that into a backbreaker and then hit the neutralizer right after for the victory. So once again, Kofi Kinston loses another one-on-one matchup as the champion. And then we have the Miz TV with special guests Damien Sandow and Cody Rhodes. It was a pretty funny segment with a lot. The crowd was chanting the whole time. Cody's mustache once again. The mustache is kind of weird on Cody. Not used to Cody having a mustache. It looks weird. I don't know, but they were chanting Cody's mustache a lot. And the Miz also made some jokes about Cody's mustache, like, you know, I must stash you a question instead of I must ask you a question. And he made fun of both of them. He asked Cody, how does it feel that Damien Sandow, while you weren't here, was saying that he carried Cody Rhodes on his back, that Cody was the Marty Jannetty of the team and stuff like that. Damien Sandow says, you know, that's nonsense. He didn't say any of that. Eventually, Cody Rhodes and Damien Sandow just walk off and leave The Miz. And then The Miz says, after, smelling Cody Rhodes' mustache or whatever, he has a new name for the team, and that's the Pink and the Stink. And then we have a quick backstage segment with John Cena walking towards the ring for his match against the Big Show. AJ comes up to him wanting to be in the matchup. Well, not in the matchup, but, ringside. She wants to come out with him. And she says, I know usually when, it involves the Big Show and I'm at ringside, it doesn't end well, but she wants to come out with him anyways. John Cena tells her no and to stay backstage. So now moving on to the matchup, Big Show dominates most of the matchup until John Cena starts hitting his moves like the shoulder tackle and then the back suplex and then the 5-knuckle shuffle, followed by, he was going to hit the AA, but Big Show actually chokeslammed him, but John Cena kicked out. Cena then hit the Attitude Adjustment, and once he hit it, he was down, Big Show was down, and then Seth Rollins comes out, and then the rest of the Shield come out, and they start attacking John Cena. And then Kane and Danny Bryan come out for the save, but then Dolph and Big Show get involved, so the faces are outnumbered. So then Sheamus music hits, and he comes out, but when he came out, on the Minitron, you saw Ryback's logo, so that kind of spoiled that Ryback was probably coming out next. So yeah, Sheamus comes out to try and even out the odds. Eventually, Ryback comes out, and when he came out, the Shield was expecting him, so they were inside the ring, but really close to the ropes, really not letting Ryback get in. So Ryback just grabs one of the ladders, since there was a bunch of ladders, I guess, to promote TLC. A bunch of ladders set up outside the ring during the show. So he grabbed one of the ladders and just threw it inside the ring in their faces, and then got in the ring and started fighting it out with everybody. So the show ends with just everybody fighting it out. No, none of the heels or faces really got the advantage. So what did I think about tonight's Raw? It was an okay Raw. Highlight of the night? Well, that Cody's mustache chant caught me off guard. I didn't think we'd hear that ever. Like, what the hell? Cody's mustache as a chant? Anyways, that was the highlight of the night. But anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you watched Raw, what'd you guys think of Raw? And if you have to give it a rating, what rating would you give it on 10? I'm out. See you guys.